One of the ways that we know we are in a crisis is that we have an abundance of questions. A crisis disrupts the narrative we use to define our lives, and we normally live each day with assumptions about what matters, and then we make decisions about what to do, and we expect things to turn out a certain way. But that's normal times. In the time of the crisis of the pandemic, we don't necessarily know the right questions or the right answers, and so we have to make decisions as we go along. During this pandemic, we seem to have more questions than we do answers. We don't know for sure what we can do, for example, to stay well. The virus can come and get us at any time. We don't know for sure when and how to make plans for the future. We don't even know what the economic impact is going to be for us or for the people we love. We don't know when we will be able to hug our grandchildren again. There are so many unanswered questions in these times. But that is precisely the place in which I am nurturing my relationship with God. For I believe that God is in the questions. God is in the empty space, not cluttered with all of our normal answers. God is in the loneliness that comes to me when I'm not able to eat lunch with my friends. God is in the confusion that comes when I don't know what's going to happen next. You see, God is in the unknown, for God is mystery. Why does God operate this way? Because God is the one who's doing a new thing. And new things come when old things no longer take up all the space. When my days are filled with the familiar activities of my life, everything is more predictable, and I'm not seeking to do new things. The old is just fine, thank you, and it may not always be the best, but it is at least familiar, and the familiar is at least comfortable. So, believing that God is present in these empty space and in these questions, I find new energy. I seek new things. I read and I wonder. I stretch my calcifying imagination to wrap itself around new ways of loving and new ways of living justly in the world. I listen for new clues to how to live my life more gently, how to treat others more lovingly, and how to treat my planet gracefully. And because God meets us in these unknown futures, I believe that what is emerging will represent God, will represent divine love, will represent grace. I quiet my own fears by what I am hoping for and what I believe God is yearning for. I quiet my fears by resting in God's hope and God's peace. And so in this season, I feel God's presence profoundly because there are so many questions. My heart, though, is open to these questions. The empty space isn't always comfortable, but I believe love is alive in my curiosity and will do a new thing when my heart is open to this new world. I hope you too can lean into the questions in your life and explore the new things that God might be doing with you. And let's pray that our whole world too will ask enough questions to hear God's new voice calling us to a new way of loving and living justly with one another.